She said she wanted a man who listens, who opens up, who's emotionally honest. Then she left the moment you did. Every man has lived this confusion, the contradictions, the mixed signals, the feeling that no matter what you do, it's never quite right. It's not because women are complicated, it's because you've been taught to misunderstand them. In this video, I'll show you 5 unspoken realities about women, the psychological truths that explain everything you've struggled to make sense of. Why she says one thing and feels another. Why she stops desiring you once she feels you've lost your edge. Why love doesn't disappear, but respect does. If you've ever felt lost trying to decode her, don't move. You're about to see what no one else dares to say out loud. No one teaches men what women are really like, until they've already been broken by one. We live in a time where everything about relationships is upside down. So men are told to be softer, to share more, to always understand. But no one tells them how to stay powerful while doing it. You've been handed the wrong rulebook, the kind that teaches you how to please, not how to lead. And every time you try to follow it, you feel weaker, less respected, less desired, less certain of yourself. But here's the truth. Women don't want a man who performs for approval. They want a man who leads with composure, who listens without losing his edge, who opens up without falling apart. That balance between strength and emotion, between connection and control, is what most men never master. And it's the reason so many keep repeating the same emotional mistakes, one woman after another. In this video, we'll cut through the noise and get to the core. 5 unspoken realities about women that no one dares to say out loud. If you've ever been confused, manipulated, or left wondering what went wrong, this will be the video that finally makes it make sense, because once you see the truth, you stop chasing and you start leading. Number 1, she's not fully honest, even with herself. You ask her what's wrong, she looks away and says, nothing. But that word means everything. Every man has been there, standing in the silence after that word, trying to decode the emotional storm behind it. You replay the last conversation in your head, wondering if you said something wrong, missed a cue, or failed some invisible test. The truth is, you probably didn't. Because half the time, even she doesn't know what's actually wrong. Here's what most men don't realize. Women don't always lie, not to you, but to themselves. Their emotional state shifts faster than logic can keep up. One moment she feels safe, loved, connected. The next, something small, a tone, a glance, a word, triggers an emotional ripple, and suddenly she's distant, defensive, or upset. But if you ask why, she can't give you a clear answer. Not because she's manipulative, but because her feelings move faster than reason can define. She says she's fine because she wants to be fine. She says she doesn't care because she wants to stop caring. But her emotions don't obey her words. And you, the logical man, step in trying to solve it, explain it, fix it. That's your biggest mistake. When you treat her emotions like a problem to solve, she feels unseen. When you try to rationalize her feelings, she feels invalidated. You think you're helping. She thinks you're dismissing. And that's where men lose ground without realizing it. She doesn't need you to fix her feelings. She needs to feel that you can hold them without collapsing under the weight. Because whether she knows it or not, every woman is constantly measuring. Can you stay grounded when she can't? Can you stay calm when she spirals? Can you hold space without losing your center? That's what makes her feel safe. Not your logic, not your explanations, but your composure. When you stop taking her emotions personally, everything changes. Her words stop being landmines. Her moods stop being threats. You realize her truth is fluid, not fixed, and that's okay. You stop chasing meaning in every reaction and start reading the patterns beneath them. This is how you learn to stand still in emotional chaos, not to dominate, not to detach, but to remain unmoved in the storm. That's emotional mastery. Understanding this truth doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior. It means knowing the terrain you're walking on. Women don't seek clarity the way men do. They seek connection. And if you can meet her storm with calm instead of confusion, you become the anchor she subconsciously searches for. So next time she says nothing, remember, it's not an invitation to fix her. It's a test of whether you can stay still while she finds herself. Number 2. What she says she wants and what she actually responds to are often opposites. She tells you she wants vulnerability. She says she wants honesty, emotional openness, a man who can really share his feelings. But then, the moment you do, she disappears. You sit there wondering what went wrong. You opened up. You trusted her with your truth. You thought that's what she wanted. And yet, her warmth fades. Her texts slow down. Her body language changes. She's polite now, not passionate. You think you scared her away by being real. But here's what really happened. You triggered something she didn't even understand in herself. Women are drawn to emotional depth, but only when it doesn't threaten their sense of safety. They admire your openness when it comes from strength, but recoil when it comes from pain you haven't mastered yet. When your vulnerability feels like a cry for help, she instinctively pulls back. Not because she's cruel, but because her biology equates emotional instability with danger. It's not about her wanting you to hide who you are. It's about her need to feel that you can handle who you are. You see, her attraction isn't tied to your wounds. It's tied to your composure in spite of them. She's drawn to your strength, not your scars. When you share too much too soon, especially before trust and polarity are established, she doesn't see connection. She feels weight. She starts to carry the emotional load that was never meant to be hers. And when she feels she has to take care of you, something shifts inside her. She steps out of her feminine, nurturing energy and into a quiet, protective one. That's when attraction fades. Not because she stopped caring, but because the polarity flipped. She can't feel safe being the woman when you're being the boy. So what should you do? Be emotionally intelligent, not emotionally dependent. Process your emotions privately, with people who can hold that space for you, friends, mentors, or your own solitude. Don't make your partner your therapist. When you share with her, share from a place of stability, not collapse. Tell her what you've learned, not what you're drowning in, because here's the truth. Emotional openness doesn't make you more attractive if it costs you your frame. Vulnerability is magnetic only when it's grounded. A man who knows his pain, but isn't ruled by it, becomes irresistible. A man who spills it without control becomes heavy. So next time you want to open up, ask yourself, am I sharing to connect, or am I leaking to be saved? She'll feel the difference long before she can explain it. Number 3, she never stops evaluating you. You think once you win her, you can finally relax. That's your first mistake. For women, attraction isn't a trophy moment. It's a continuous assessment. Every day, she's unconsciously asking, is he still the man I chose? Is he still leading? Is he still growing? It's not malice. It's nature. A woman's instinct for security runs deep, coded into her biology. She's wired to attach to strength, stability, and consistency. When those fade, so does her sense of safety. And when safety disappears, attraction isn't far behind. This is where most men get blindsided. You think love is a permanent reward, a guarantee. You think if you've proven yourself once, you've earned her devotion forever. But love doesn't work that way. Love doesn't die. Respect does. And once respect is gone, desire follows. She may still love you, but she won't look at you the same. That's when she starts pulling away. She becomes quieter, less affectionate. She doesn't argue, she withdraws. You feel her slipping through your fingers, and no amount of chasing brings her back. You try harder, do more, apologize for everything, hoping to fix what's broken. But you can't negotiate respect. You can only command it by how you live, how you move, how you lead. When she senses that you've lost your edge, mentally, physically, emotionally, something shifts. The man she admired becomes a memory, and her body responds long before her heart catches up. That's why her attraction fades in silence. That's why her tone changes even when her words don't. It's not about money or status. It's about momentum. She wants to feel that you're still becoming, because the moment you stop growing, she starts doubting. And doubt kills attraction faster than distance ever could. This truth hurts, I know. It feels unfair. But understand this, her constant evaluation isn't an insult, it's an invitation. An invitation to rise, to stay sharp, to keep becoming the man you were when she first believed in you. When you maintain your drive, not for her, but for yourself, you win twice. You keep your power, and you keep her respect. Because the moment you start living for her approval, you've already lost both. So, stop trying to hold her attention. Hold your purpose instead. Women don't stay for comfort. They stay for certainty. Become the man she would still choose, even if she had to meet you again today. Not because she demands it, but because you deserve to be that man. Number 4. When you stop leading, she becomes masculine. She used to look at you like a man. Now she talks to you like a child. What happened? You didn't cheat. You didn't yell. You didn't do anything wrong. But somehow, you lost her softness. That feminine glow that once lit up around you. Here's the brutal truth. When a woman doesn't feel led, she starts leading. Not because she wants to, but because she feels she has to. It's survival. When she senses that you've stopped steering the ship, her instincts take over. She steps into control mode, planning, organizing, managing, correcting, and every time she does, something inside her shuts off. That's when the polarity dies. The lover becomes the mother. And nothing kills desire faster than feeling like she's raising you instead of being led by you. Understand this. She doesn't want to be your boss. She doesn't want to carry the mental load. She wants to rest. But she can't rest when you've dropped the wheel. Maybe it started small. You said, "You decide." She asked, "Where do you want to eat?" And you said, "I don't care." Over time, she stopped asking altogether, because every "I don't care" tells her one thing: you're not leading. You think you're being easygoing. She sees you as passive. You think you're giving her freedom. She feels abandoned. Soon, she's doing everything. Planning vacations, managing the bills, making all the decisions. She becomes efficient, but exhausted. And she starts resenting the man she once adored. Not because he's bad, but because he's absent. She doesn't crave dominance. She craves direction. She wants to feel that you're the one holding the line, that she can relax into your strength and trust your judgment. That's when her femininity blooms again. When you step up and lead, not through control, but through clarity, everything shifts. You stop asking for permission to be the man. You just are. You take initiative, you decide, you follow through. Not to overpower her, but to allow her to stop overfunctioning. Because here's the truth. The moment she has to lead, she stops loving you the same way. Not because she wants to, but because she no longer feels safe not to. Leadership in a relationship isn't about who's louder. It's about who's grounded, who holds direction when things get uncertain. So if you've noticed that she's colder, more defensive, less affectionate, don't argue. Reclaim your edge. Lead with purpose. Take back the energy you once surrendered. Because a woman can only be soft in the presence of a man who stands firm. And when you lead, she finally exhales. Number 5, she wants to be taken care of, but not like you think. She doesn't want to be controlled, but she wants to feel you're in control. There's a difference. Most men misunderstand this. They think taking care of a woman means paying bills, solving problems, or constantly proving they're capable. But what she truly wants isn't your money, your control, or your protection. It's the feeling that she's safe in your presence. That safety isn't financial, it's emotional. It's in the way you hold yourself when life hits hard. It's in the way you make decisions without panic. It's in how you move through chaos without losing your composure. A woman's nervous system syncs with yours. When you're calm, she relaxes. When you're uncertain, she tenses. That's not her being dramatic. That's biology. Women are attuned to leadership through energy, not words. You can buy her gifts, plan dates, and still have her feel utterly alone if your energy is scattered, because no amount of provision replaces direction. Protection isn't about paying her bills. It's about calming her nervous system. It's about creating an environment where she doesn't have to anticipate danger, physical or emotional. And here's the paradox. She wants to be taken care of, but she also wants to admire the way you take care of yourself. If she feels she has to constantly remind you to get your life together, to handle your money, your body, your habits, she stops trusting your leadership. Because deep down, she's not measuring your resources. She's measuring your consistency. She's watching how you move when no one's watching. She's reading your direction, your purpose. When you take care of yourself, physically, mentally, financially, she feels cared for even without words, because what she really wants isn't your protection, it's your predictability. The quiet knowing that you've got it handled and that she can soften into that steadiness. And this isn't about being her savior, it's about being her peace, the man who makes her feel that she doesn't have to hold it all alone. When you embody that kind of strength, she'll naturally open, trust, and give more freely. Her love won't come from obligation, but from relief. So stop trying to prove that you can take care of her. Start proving that you can take care of you. Because the man who masters himself doesn't need to chase loyalty. It follows him. And the woman who feels safe in your presence doesn't ask for more. She simply stays. Once you see these truths, you can't unsee them. The question is, what kind of man will you become now? You've just walked through the unspoken realities every man faces alone. And maybe, somewhere along the way, you saw pieces of yourself. The man who tried too hard to please, who lost his edge, who forgot his direction. But this isn't about regret. It's about recognition. Because awareness is the beginning of strength. When you finally stop blaming her moods, her silence, her distance, and start understanding what they reveal about your own foundation, you shift from reaction to control. You stop asking, why is she like this? And start asking, what does this bring out in me? That's when you step into true power, not the loud posturing kind, but the silent, grounded kind. The kind that doesn't chase, doesn't prove, doesn't panic. The kind that leads without needing permission. Being grounded doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being unshakable. It's knowing that her storms are not your fault, but they are your test. Can you remain still when she's lost in her feelings? Can you lead with clarity when she doubts you? Can you choose purpose over validation? Because when you stop chasing her emotions, you start leading her heart. And that's the moment she feels something she can't quite name: trust. A grounded man doesn't dominate a woman. He anchors her. He makes her feel safe enough to let go of control, to return to her softness, to breathe. But more than that, he makes himself proud. He becomes someone his past self would admire and his future self would thank. That's the transformation. You stop being defined by her reactions and start being defined by your direction. You no longer measure yourself by how she feels. You measure yourself by how you lead. And when you live like that, women stop being a source of confusion and become a mirror for your growth. Every challenge, every argument, every test becomes feedback, showing you where you still bend, where you still flinch, where you still need to stand taller. You become untouchable, not because you've hardened, but because you've integrated, because your peace is no longer negotiable. Start leading your life first. Women naturally follow strength, not noise. You don't need to prove you're the man. Just become him, quietly, relentlessly, every day. And when you do, you'll realize something profound. You were never meant to face these realities to suffer. You were meant to face them to rise. You've seen the 5 unspoken realities every man must face alone. Each one, a mirror reflecting back where your strength was tested and where it still needs to grow. She's not fully honest with herself, so you learn not to take her emotions personally. She says she wants vulnerability, so you learn to be open without losing your frame. She never stops evaluating you, so you learn to evolve for yourself, not for her. She becomes masculine when you stop leading, so you learn that leadership is your nature, not your option. She wants to be cared for, so you learn that the only way to protect her peace is to master your own. These realities aren't cruel. They're the manual to emotional power, if you're brave enough to face them. They strip away illusions, but they give you back your edge. They show you that being a man in today's world isn't about dominance or control. It's about steadiness, the kind that makes people feel safe just by being around you. Because strength isn't how loudly you talk, it's how calmly you move. It's the look in your eyes when chaos hits and you don't flinch. It's the silence that says, "I've got this," even when no one else does. And when you embody that kind of quiet power, you stop chasing love that drains you. You start attracting love that matches you. The truth doesn't hurt. Denial does. And the moment you stop denying what women are, what you are, and what reality demands of you, that's the moment you stop being confused and start becoming unshakable. If this hit you somewhere deep, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button. Share this with a man who needs to hear it. Leave a comment and tell me, which truth woke you up the hardest? Because this isn't just another video. This is where men rise again, not to conquer women, but to master themselves. And when you master yourself, the world follows.